Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Anatomy of a Movie. Over the course of these videos, I will be focusing on one of the most important elements of filmmaking, and that's the theme. It's the message or messages a film is trying to convey. Themes are extremely important to a movie because they can run the gamut of topics from good versus evil in Star Wars to beating the odds in Rocky. More times than not, there is usually more than one. Think about your favorite movie. Can you think about what the themes are? Today's episode is going to be focusing on a little movie with big star power. Now, this movie didn't break any box office records or is huge in popularity, but the long-lasting effects it has had are undeniable. I'm talking about the 1998 movie Rounders, starring Matt Damon, Edward Norton, John Turturro, and John Malkovich. So a little bit about the film. This was made for only $12 million and filmed entirely in New York and New Jersey. At the time, the two stars of this movie were red hot, Damon coming off his Oscar victory for the year previous for writing Good Will Hunting, and Norton getting an Oscar nomination for Primal Fear. Neither could know what was to come. This film was one of the major contributors to the poker boom, along with the amateur poker player Chris Moneymaker winning the WSOP main event, and yes, that is his real name. When he was victorious at the 2003 main event, there were 839 total entries. Millions watched along on ESPN, an entire generation of poker players were born. Now, I'm willing to bet most of you played your first tournament after watching his success. This is what's known as the Moneymaker Effect. Now, on to the themes of the film, all of which are equally important. The first major theme of the film is redemption. This is one of the central themes. The main character, Mike McDermott, played by Matt Damon, seeks redemption after losing his entire bankroll in a high-stakes poker game. He vows to quit gambling and focus on his law school studies, but he finds himself drawn back into the world of underground poker when his friend Worm, played by Edward Norton, is released from prison. Another theme that is explored is friendship and loyalty. Rounders explores the complexity of this, particularly through the relationship between Mike and Worm. Despite Worm's reckless behavior on several occasions, including running up a tab for Chesterfield and lying to Mike about who he owes money to as well as the amount, this all puts a strain on their friendship.
Nothing has changed. You were hiding from your troubles then, you're hiding from your troubles now.
I like the hiding. That's part of the fun for me. You know, I don't like running solo. It's like I used to have a running partner, you know what I'm saying?
This eventually leads to conflict and moral dilemmas throughout. Nevertheless, Mike remains loyal to him.
See, no one's ever stood up for Worm. The guy's been kicked around his whole life, from his father on down. Maybe he's not the same guy he was when he went away, but I can't give up on him that easy.
Ask yourself, how far would you go for a friend? Another central theme is risk and consequence. How Mike and Worm approach this couldn't be any more polar opposite. They are definitely both risk takers, but approach it differently. Mike usually calculates his risks and plays strategically, but not at the beginning of the movie, where he puts it all on the line, and even Joey Knish, played by John Turturro, tries to stop him, and he doesn't want to hear it, and subsequently loses everything.
You're right. I don't have spades.
I know before the cards are even turned over.
Worm is impulsive and often makes decisions without considering the consequences. The film highlights how their differing approaches to risks influence their lives and relationships.
What? I'll sit at the other table and play straight.
Listen, you want to play straight? You go in there, I'll be back in 8 hours.
A theme that cannot be overlooked is identity and self-discovery. Mike's journey involves a quest for identity and self-discovery. He grapples with the question of whether he is a poker player or a law student and struggles to reconcile his passion for the game with his desire to have a more conventional life, even going so far as to try to make his girlfriend understand to no avail.
Why does it still seem like gambling to you? I mean, why do you think the same 5 guys make it to the final table at the World Series of Poker every single year? What are they, the luckiest guys in Las Vegas? It's a skill game, Joe.
One of the most poignant scenes in the movie is when Mike turns to his professor, played by the incomparable Martin Landau, for advice.
If you had to do it all over again, Would you make the same choices?
What choice? The last thing I took away from the yeshiva is this. We can't run from who we are. Our destiny chooses us.
Throughout the film, Mike confronts his own values and priorities as he navigates the underground poker scene and confronts challenges that force him to question who he really is. The final theme explored in this movie is the allure of the underground. This theme explores the underground world of high-stakes poker. It depicts the adrenaline rush and excitement that comes with risking everything for a chance at winning big, as well as the darker side of the underground poker scene, including the risk of violence and betrayal. So as we wrap up today, there has been a burning question on everybody's mind in and around Hollywood. Will there ever be a sequel? It's been 26 years without one. Last year, I got a chance to sit down with former WSOP bracelet winner Chad Holloway, and here were his thoughts. Do you think Rounders 2 will ever get
It
made?
is the lingering question, right, in the poker world. There's so many hopefuls. There's been so many false starts, if you will, over the years.
And to one-up that, Chad, do you think if it gets made, do you think that could be another boom?
To answer your question, yes, I do think it will get made. And if it's done right, then yes, it could be another contribution to increasing growth. I don't know if it would boom per se, but it certainly could help. And I heard rumblings in the poker industry that there are some very powerful figures, if you will, within the poker industry who want to see it made, and so may be willing to help fund it or push it in that direction, and that it could be a very real possibility. And we know from over the years, from interviews that Edward Norton has done, that he's been on board wanting to do a sequel, that the screenwriters Brian Koppelman and David Levian, who are now writing the great Showtime show Billions, by the way, but they're interested in doing a sequel as well. And so I think the people are there that are wanting to do it. It's just a matter of maybe scheduling and finances, but I do think it will happen. What it will be is anybody's guess as far as storyline goes. I just hope it's done right, because we in the poker world can be pretty picky.
And if you have a film suggestion I should do, please leave it in the comment section below. Stay tuned for more episodes in the future, and to make sure you never miss one, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button.